and gentlemen, welcome back to Logical Nonsense Podcast. Today we have Dodge Matthews, Kaden Walsh, and possibly a special guest later. We will see. Boys, how are we doing tonight on this Monday night?
You know, anytime your team can pull it out against the Chargers, you'll take it. So we're feeling good.
Let's hop right into that game. Do you want to take us through this 20-17 victory over this Brandon Staley coached Chargers?
Brandon Staley, that dude is something else. He sees a fourth down, he's like, we can't kick a field goal. Let's just go. I don't care where we are on the field. We're going for it. Leaves points on the board a lot. And then it's kind of just an ugly game. Dak missed a couple touchdown throws, especially to Pollard in the corner of the end zone, but they got it done in the end, so you can't complain.
No, I mean, Staley needs to be talked about. I mean, he's talked about plenty in the media, don't get me wrong, but he's done it so many times, man. The fourth down's gotta stop. Like, has he not learned? Like, I know there's analytics for like fourth down, like teams going for it. Oh, this is a good situation to do it. This is not. If Brandon Staley is coaching the team, the chances drop significantly, at least by 50%. Whatever the odds are at the down for fourth down, because Brandon Staley's coaching, there's no way the team has a chance.
Well, I feel like the analytics also are off. Like, I think they're giving like an estimate of a random play of getting 3 yards or 2 yards on a random play, but it's fourth down, and there's a difference between fourth down and a random play, and I think the real probability is probably much lower than like the analytics suggest it is.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's been evidenced by the Chargers.
Yeah.
And in college football this last week as well.
True. What do you guys think of Dak Prescott's performance tonight?
He was very mid. I don't know, a little bit better than mid, I'd say. That last drive, they had like 3 third downs where he actually clutched up, got it to Cooks and Lamb. I know they talked a lot about getting the ball to Lamb more. They definitely used him. But there was a couple throws today that were there for touchdowns. One to Gallup, one to Pollard that he just missed. So, he managed it better than the Niners games and did enough to win, but still not really too impressed with them this season.
Yeah, his stat line, looking at it, 21 for 30, 272 and 1 touchdown. He was sacked 5 times. And first, I'll let you, Dodge, talk about what you think about Dak's performance before I go into my next question. But
I honestly didn't think it was bad. I would say that it was one of the better performances of the week and better performances from Dak. I mean, he only had the 1 touchdown, not a lot of points, but he was pushing the ball down the field decently. He missed a few throws, but he had 40 yards on the ground and scampered one in for another touchdown. That's the efficiency you want in a quarterback. No picks, 2 touchdowns. Not too much more you can ask for.
The
he
5
outplayed
sacks,
Herbert, so
where I was going with that, do you guys think that's an O-line thing or him not getting rid of the ball thing? Or a mix of both?
I think it's a Chargers thing.
True.
That D-line is nasty.
Look, this Chargers defense looked awful at the beginning of the year, and they have stepped it up a lot. They're starting to look like a decent defense, at least.
That D-line looks good, and they should have been good from the start.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? You watch the Cowboys more than us.
Our O-line's pretty good for the most part. I think Dak was kind of holding on to it a little bit longer today, trying to make plays. But still, like you said, like the Chargers are getting 5-6 sacks a game anyway. They had like 9 against the Raiders the other day, so they're a solid defense.
Khalil Mack, I don't know how many he's got on the season now, but he's hot, man. That man is not looking like he's aging, which is not a good thing for NFL quarterbacks. He has terrorized my team for so many years. He somehow continues to be in the AFC West, and I really don't like it. So, yeah, I mean, I was happy when he was on the Bears. He was on the Bears, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was tripping for a second.
Yeah.
He went to the Bears for a little bit. I was happy about that, but somehow he sneaked his way back into the AFC West, and not that it matters. I mean, but speaking of the Broncos, let's talk about that game.
Yep.
Dodge, I know you really like this game. Super, super great game. Came down to the wire. You know, the Broncos looked the best they had all season long. The Chiefs looked so good. It was just such a fun game to watch, don't you think?
Yeah, No, not a chance. This game was rough. You saw the Chiefs literally. I thought Andy Reid was playing a little too cutesy,
Yeah.
and he kind of just his creativity. Sometimes you got to give him props. Sometimes it's over the top. This time it was over the top, and finally the Broncos defense looked
Yeah.
manageable. I mean, not bad.
No, not at all.
But the Broncos offense this time, I mean, Russ finally had a bad game. Broncos receivers and I've been saying this for a while, overrated by a long shot. They got a bunch of mid guys, and to be honest, they dropped too many balls to be even considered mid. So Cortland Sutton had a spectacular catch. But Judy, where is he? I mean, wasn't he like a 10th pick in the draft?
Yeah. What
He's
hurts
not. He
me
does
is,
not deserve that.
didn't you guys get CD Lamb after us, or did you get him right before us? I can't remember.
Pretty sure we got him right before.
I know you traded up
But yeah,
to get
picked
him,
like 8 or 7, something
and
early.
I remember thinking, "Oh, I think we got the steal." God, I wish I could go back. Just call little, hey John Elway, can you make a couple moves here? CD Lamb's going to be a great player, much better than Judy. But no, this game was awful. I think it speaks volume when the Chiefs have a quote unquote bad game and the Broncos can still only put up 8 points and let up 19 points on defense. Yeah, no, when the Chiefs are at their, I would say, besides game one, this is definitely in competition for their worst game of the year. And the Broncos were never once, in my opinion, in this game, really. They were kind of always out of control. I mean, the Chiefs were always in control of this game. They truly kind of led the game however they wanted because the Broncos just aren't good and they didn't show anything on offense that they could be good this game. So yeah, it was pretty bad. Anything else for this game? Or can we move on? Okay. Let's move on. I didn't watch this game. I caught the tail end of it, but the Commanders take a dub over the Falcons. Both pretty, what I would say, average teams. But Sam Howell had a pretty good game. 3 touchdowns, 151 yards. I know that makes Dodge happy. Ritter, on the other hand, continues to show me that he is not an NFL quarterback. 3 picks is just not okay. On 47 passing attempts. Who is giving this man 47 passing attempts?
This is just kind of an ugly game the whole way through. Not too much going on really. It was kind of close until the end when the Falcons needed to go crunch time. 3rd and goal. Ritter just chucks it off his back foot. I don't even know if he looked at the receiver. Picked off. They get the ball back. Throws another pick. I don't know what the Falcons got to do. They finally used Kyle Pitts and they still can't do anything on offense. So
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I thought Ritter was gonna be better than he's shown so far this season. But I'm sure all the Falcons fans can now say, you know what, Mariota really wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
The dude had 15 touchdowns and 9 picks last year, and everybody's calling for his head. But what's Ritter at this season? He's at
Yeah.
6-6. Is that right?
I don't know. I truly don't
Yeah.
know.
It's
I
six
try
and
to avoid
six.
Falcons football at all costs.
And Sam Howell, he had a bounce back game. Uh he's still, I mean, Sam Howell, he still looks like a young quarterback, but you can obviously see potential there. And I do think he will be a good quarterback in the NFL later on. Yeah. Is
He,
he top 10 now? No, but could he be possibly in the future? He could be.
yeah, no, he's definitely shown a lot more potential than I thought he had. When you were first making this take, I definitely did not agree with you, and I think many people didn't agree with you. But he's had games such as this Falcons game, such as the Eagles game, where I look at what he's done in those moments, and I'm like, okay, this kid can compete. He can throw the ball when he needs to, but he definitely still has a lot of developing to do for sure. So, all right. Moving on to the Vikings Bears, another dumpster fire game. Lot of This whole week was just a lot of turnovers. Honestly, like there were so many turnovers in like almost every game. It was quite crazy. Like I don't know. I truly want to know if this is competes for like some of the most turnovers in a week, like across the NFL. But just a weird game. I know Justin Fields goes down with a dislocated thumb. And then what was his name? Tyson Bagent?
Bajent.
Bagent?
Bajent.
Bagent? I've never even heard of this kid. He comes in, gets a 1 yard touchdown run, fourth quarter. Maybe looks like the Bears can pull it off. They don't. The Vikings win 19-13. Takeaways from this game.
The
Uh,
Vikings needed this game. They really did. I know Kirk Cousins, he said he's not going to waive that no trade clause, so he's sticking it with the Vikings this season. But if they had lost this one, I I don't know, they might have benched him, just not because he's playing bad, just because they want to get rid of him for his contract. Which he's in a contract year, but they can get value back.
that offense looked really rough without Jefferson. It was
Yes.
not fun to watch. Didn't know who they wanted to go to. Is just bad on both ends too, because you thought Fields, he played good the last 2 weeks, and then he comes out and just they kind of move the ball early, but as soon as they get inside the 30, just can't do anything.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things too where people obviously know how good Justin Jefferson is. Like, I'm not gonna say like he's not valuable or whatever, but I think you realize like how valuable he is to this team and how much he is used in this offense when you see their offense struggle as badly as they did to this Bears defense, which is what, average?
At
Like,
best, average. Yeah.
yeah. So, for that offense to struggle with Kirk Cousin who slings the ball around, it just shows what Justin Jefferson does on a field. So,
Yeah. No, and the Bears without Fields, they're in tank mode.
yeah, let's.
Uh,
I'm curious what you guys think. It's been a couple weeks now. I know the last podcast we had, Kaden, you're talking about possibly he's not him. Is he him? I don't know. There's a lot of up and down with this guy. I feel like the media goes in waves with him.
I know he looked really good the last 2 weeks. I'll give him credit. DJ Moore was feasting the last couple weeks too. That connection was
Mm-hmm.
solid, and then it wasn't there this week. Goes down with the injury, and now you question kind of where they go from here with him. I still think he's a good quarterback, but he's just hot and cold when he does play.
I think the interesting question here too, especially after what they did last year, they had the number one overall draft pick. They traded away Carolina. Carolina grabs Bryce Young, who has been okay. He hasn't been CJ Stroud, that's for sure. But if they are in that situation again, do they trade it away or do they take Caleb Williams? What would you guys do? You're the GM of the Bears.
how long's Fields' contract? got another year on it, I think, right?
I can look it up. So he signed a 4-year deal in 2021. So it's
Oh,
until
okay.
2025.
I would trade away the first pick.
Ooh.
I'm running it with Fields.
Okay.
I'm firing Matt Eberflus.
Okay.
I don't think he's a good coach. And I'm trying to find a better coach. And then I'm probably trading for an offensive lineman, a star old O lineman. And with that, I know they have like another top pick, right? Like
Second.
1 and 2 or something like that. With that second pick, I either go get Marvin Harrison or I go get the best defensive player in the draft and try to boost up this defense. That's what I would do.
Kaden.
Dodge and I are in the same boat on this one. This
Okay.
Caleb Williams sweepstake right now is probably super high. You can get a ton of value out of that
True.
first pick, probably more than ever. And so if you can
Very
get
true.
Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 2, you give yourself another threat on offense. If Fields can't succeed with DJ Moore and Harrison Smith, then you know you have problems for sure. But you can get a lot of picks, a lot of talent with that first overall.
I
And an
know
upgraded O lineman if they
I
can
know
get
a
that.
really stupid GM. He's over in Denver right now. He's not doing very well, you know. So there might be
Get
some
Mike
competition
Mike
there.
McGlinchey. Who's that offensive lineman on the Broncos?
I don't know. I don't care. I'm over it. I'm over it, man. I'm so done. Moving on to the next game, Dodge. Hate to bring this game up. Seattle Bengals. Pretty interesting game. Especially because the first half it looked like it was going to be a shootout. Second half, very defensive ridden, I guess. Gino threw 3 picks in this game. Or 2 picks. One at the end of the game. I don't know. What do you think about this Seattle team and Gino? How they're riding?
It would have been huge to start off 4-1. If the Seahawks would have been 4-1, I think people would have been looking at them and saying, yeah, they're going to playoffs. At that point, 3-2, they're still in a good spot, I think, to try and make playoffs later down the road. But if they would have started 4-1, it would have been huge. This was in Bengal at Cincinnati. We it wasn't it just wasn't a good game. I mean, it was a very defensive game.
Yeah,
I can't expect Gino to play good every week. And I think he's actually done surprisingly pretty decent so far this year, besides this game. So
I don't
all
know.
right.
I think it's kind of tough though when your offense has 3 red zone trips in the second half and you get no points, 3 points out of them. It's kind of tough. You get all the way down and you shoot yourself in the foot, go backwards, throw a couple picks.
yeah,
Kind of tough.
that's definitely true. But I don't think we'd be doing better with Drew Lock. So
Horse
you know,
cock lock.
One
Unleash
drive, one
him.
tutty for Lock this year. That's all I'm saying.
Unleash him.
oh my gosh, bro.
Unleash him. The Bengals, on the other hand, though, started off 1-3. They're now 3-3. They beat the Cardinals. This was a very good win for them. In my opinion, a lot of people wouldn't say this is a must win for them. In my opinion, this is a must win for them because I look at the confidence of this team if they lose, and I don't think it's there. This is definitely a confidence booster game for them. They have a bye. They come back. They play the Niners. That'll be an interesting test. I obviously think the Niners are a much better team than the Bengals, but if they beat the Niners, they will officially beat the entire AFC West. They beat the Rams, they beat the Cardinals,
You mean
they
the
beat the
NFC
Seahawks,
West?
NFC West. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah that would be a very good win resume right there because I do think the NFC West honestly is one of the better divisions in the NFL. I think it's super underrated. I think the Rams are pretty good. I think the Cardinals are tough. the Niners are arguably the best team, and the Seahawks are playoff team, in my opinion. So winning against all four of those teams, you're in a good spot.
Browns, Niners. Browns pulled out the upset against an undefeated team. I've been saying all year they're the best team in football. Obviously, I still think that. I think, having CMC go down and Debo go down in the same game hurt them big time, especially against a defense that is one of the top defenses in the league. They took advantage of it. The moment both of them went down, Stefanski basically went man coverage on all of the receivers because they could, and kind of shut pretty much any weapon Brock Purdy had left down. They did a good job. This was, in my opinion, a very well-coached game by the Browns. They continued to to allow themselves to be within striking distance, and when the time mattered, it did. There were some questionable calls by the refs at the end, for sure, on both sides. But the Browns pulled it off.
One question I want to ask is the Browns the best defense in the NFL? I saw a statistic today that said they're the first team in NFL history to allow 1,000 yards or less the first 5 games. They looked really good. I mean, PJ Walker did not have a good game for Browns really by any means. No touchdowns, 2 picks. No. But that defense held it together and they held Purdy in check. And then they did enough to win in the end. So
I don't know if they're the best. I would definitely say they're top 3. The reason I'm questioning the best is, I look at a team like the Ravens and they gave up 28 points.
Steelers 26.
Yeah, I mean, granted, they've had some really, really good games defensively, but I definitely think they're top 3 for sure. The way they shut down a lot of this team. Obviously, like I said, Debo and CMC made this game a much different game, but yeah.
I think what I was surprised with this game is that Kittle only had 2 targets.
Kittle was quiet.
And even I would expect Kyle Juszczyk to kind of make a bigger influence on the game once CMC and Debo are down. And he only had 1 target, 1 catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really the Ayuk show. But I was just a little surprised. And I think we can say that Kyle Shanahan's offense does not work with just anybody. No. And even though Brock Purdy had a bad game too, I think that we need to give Brock Purdy credit for when he plays well, because it's obviously not just the scheme that makes everything.
It was interesting though. The announcers set this up a little bit. Brock Purdy was put for the first time in his NFL career. He was put in a situation where he had basically the 2-minute drill at the end of the game, and he wasn't able to do it. Pretty sure he actually threw a pick. No, wasn't that time?
No, he let him down. They missed a field goal as time expired.
Oh, okay.
So he actually got them into field goal range, but then their kicker missed a 41-yarder. So
that's true. It was all off that Ayuk catch, though.
Yeah,
it was one big play that got him down there. But I think, what is this? This is Brock Purdy's first regular season loss.
Yep.
And to be honest, it's his first loss if you don't even count the Eagles NFC Championship game, which I wouldn't count because he didn't play that long. So
starting to sound like a Niners fan.
They're good. I hate the Niners, but they're good.
They are good. They are good. Yeah, we'll see how this team bounces back. I don't know how long CMC or Debo will be out for, but that obviously hurts them. Like I said, that both of them make their team so much more dynamic because both of them are able to both run and catch the ball. So, all right, moving to the next game, Panthers-Dolphins. I'm not going to lie, when the Panthers went up 14-0, I was like, holy shit. What is happening with the Dolphins? Jesus Christ, you should not be letting Bryce Young's offense put up 14. Thielen was looking like a beast, and then the Dolphins' offense showed up They brought their lunch pail and had a little energy drink, and they pressed gas and didn't look back. So, what are your takeaways from this one?
One player I like to look at is Raheem Mostert because no one ever talks about him going into the year. And then every single year when he's healthy, he just goes out and dominates. Did it with
That's
the
the thing
Niners,
when he's healthy.
doing it. He's doing it this year. And so he just so fast for a 30, 32, 31-year old. He just puts it on. And then no one can guard Tyreek. Dude's almost at 1,000 yards already. So that offense
Yeah.
is lethal. But I do like the Panthers. They were very aggressive this game. You know, they're up 14-0. They did a fake punt, 4th and 6 on like the 50 for half. They didn't get it, but I did like their aggression. So
Yeah.
hopefully they keep it up. You know, being 0-6, a lot of teams probably want to quit, but hopefully they, stay true to themselves a little bit.
I think from this game that we need to shout out Adam Thielen, who's been a beast the last few weeks. I mean, I think they finally decided this is our number one guy. We're going to be going to him early and often.
As they should.
And yeah, and he's like still showing out that, you know what, I'm a good wide receiver. I think the Panthers are honestly in a better situation offensively than they were just a few weeks ago when it was more of a share the ball type offense. And now it's more like, well, we're going to try and get Thielen open and get him the ball. And I think he's producing with that. So Bryce Young looks better as well, in my opinion, when they do that. So
yeah, he looked. This was the first game where I was like, okay, he actually looks okay. Like he looked good. But going back to the Dolphins, this is, in my opinion, by far the fastest team in the NFL. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert. I know a chain just went down, but he's speedy. And then Jeff Wilson's about to come back too, who people forget about. I mean, this team is insane. With all that speed, I do wonder though, it's 4th and inches. Who are they giving the ball to? Like who are
no
they? Who's
matter,
their
they're going
power?
over the top.
Like, is it just going to be a jet sweep? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think they
Interesting.
care, to be honest with you. I don't think they care about 4th and 1. I think they care about 50-yard touchdown.
True,
So
and that they're a big play team. I mean, truly. It's why, in my opinion, they lost so big to the Bills. They weren't able to get big plays. Bills shut them down. So then the Bills turned it up on them. You know what I'm saying? Because this defense really is okay in my opinion. When they played good offenses, they haven't looked that great. You look at the teams that they've played. I mean, like I said, when they played the Bills, who, looking at their schedule, the Bills and the Chargers are the only two offenses they played that were actually good. Patriots, not a good offense. Broncos, okay at best. Giants, not a good offense. Panthers, not a good offense. So, I mean, the defense hasn't been really tested. And when they have been, they've given up 34 points and 48 points. So, it's
do we
really
think the Miami Dolphins are
run team.
pretenders?
What's up?
Do we think the Miami Dolphins are pretenders? 5 and 1?
I mean, I guess I'm technically kind of implying it, but I think in the postseason it's going to hurt them. I really do think it's going to catch up to them.
So you're saying they can't compete for a Super Bowl?
They can compete, but when it comes down to prime time and
They're not going to win.
You have Josh Allen with the ball in 2-minute drill, 4th quarter, postseason, defense isn't stopping them. Or insert Patrick Mahomes for that matter. Hell, I mean, with this defense, I put in Trevor Lawrence.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I'm just saying this defense has not proven to me that they can compete with the really good teams. the teams that matter in the postseason, not the Carolina Panthers of the world.
Fair.
Colts, Jags. Jags, I got to give them credit, man. They came off of 2 weeks in London. Defense showed up, looked great. They had 3 picks in this game. The offense started off hot in the first half, and they didn't really have to perform a whole lot in the second half. And it's good thing they didn't really have to perform in the second half because they didn't really look that great in the second half after their first half performance. ETN isn't getting talked about enough. He's been doing good things for this offense. He scored 2 more touchdowns in this game. He's a dynamic player. I know he didn't have very many yards, but he is a dynamic player for this team.
Yeah, I also want to note that Trevor Lawrence did sustain a knee injury this game. We'll see how serious that is. Hopefully not too bad because he played really well. The Colts are going to probably be without Richardson the rest of the year. I just saw that today. So that means it's going to be Minshew's world. You know, he's playing pretty good this year going into this game. He had 3 picks. But one question I had about this game is, you get Jonathan Taylor back. They didn't really use him that much. He only had 8 carries, under 20 yards. Are the Colts going to need to start inserting him more, go to a 2-back set? Where do the Colts kind of go from here? It's a tough loss for them.
Yeah, the Colts threw the ball 55 times.
Yeah. They can't be throwing the ball 55 times. They honestly couldn't run the ball that game, though. I mean, they averaged 2.6 yards per carry. And they did get Jonathan Taylor on 5 catches for 46 yards. And Zach Moss on 6 catches for 38 yards. So, I think they're kind of screwed unless they figure out how to run the ball without Anthony Richardson being in the game. Maybe Gardner's got to run it a little more, just to say that, hey, he can. But then again, you're risking injuring Minshew when is Richardson confirmed out too?
No, I don't know for sure. I just saw a thing that said more than likely he is.
All right, here we are for the second half. We have a new special guest. Everyone welcome Seth O'Brien.
Woo! Yeah!
To the stage.
Yay!
Seth, just in time for the
Boo.
Patriots-Raiders game.
Awesome.
Raiders won 21-17. I think I will give the Raiders this, or the Patriots this. The Patriots sent Devontae Adams into another dimension. So I'll give them that. But I don't know. What do you think about this game, Seth?
Well, we finally scored more than 2 touchdowns, so that's a plus. Mac Jones didn't
scored a
look
field goal.
well.
2.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm done watching Patriots games. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna look at the stats and I know what happens when Malik Cunningham will take over as starting quarterback. So that's all I'm looking for at this time. Dodgers scared.
Cunningham.
I know you guys don't know about him. He's coming up.
He went 0 for 0 and took 1 sack.
Can we talk about why Bill Belichick hates Bailey Zappi? I don't know what he has against this man, but he's only played like slightly better than Mac Jones when he has played, and he'll never play him again. He hates him, bro.
I don't know.
Cut him, bring him back on practice squad. Third stringer
Here's
now.
something I brought up on my last pod, and I want to bring it up to you, Seth. Is it time to fire Bill?
No, it's not. Who are we going to replace him with?
It's time to move on.
With who?
Ever since Tom's left, Bill has not had a playoff run.
Have we looked at his
This is a
team
bad
since
argument.
I know. Bill hasn't got it done.
I think there's some other things that need to happen before Bill Belichick goes underneath the hot seat. I want a terrible season until I start thinking about that. I want a 4 or 5 win season. I mean, Pete Carroll had what, 2, 3, 9-7, 8-8 seasons before he started popping off, or he was even on the hot seat. So I think he's got time. He's definitely
are 1-5 right now. They're looking at a 4-5 win season.
Yeah, I want to see it. We got more games. We got 11 more games.
You want me to read off the rest of their schedule for you?
I don't, because I know we have to play the Dolphins again. The Jets
Because
again.
I promise you it's a very tough schedule. They play the Bills next week, the Dolphins, the Commanders, Colts, Giants, Chargers, Steelers, Chiefs, Broncos, Bills, Jets.
Well, we're beating the Broncos, thank God. At least we have them on our schedule.
Hey, let me just say
That'll
this.
be a dumpster fire game.
Yeah, it will be.
This is a GM problem, not a coaching problem. They don't have a team that can compete. And I honestly think like a lot of people, whenever a team does bad, wants to blame the coach right away. But if the coach doesn't have the team to make playoffs, why are we expecting these teams like to make playoffs? Like
If
the
you didn't know,
Panthers, right? When they fired the new Nebraska coach, I
Matt
should
Rule.
know is Matt Rule. They did not have a roster to compete for anything. Why did they expect to like be good? I don't know. And then I mean, to be honest, Frank Reich is the head coach of the Panthers now. Like, let's talk about head coaches that should be on a hot seat. He's supposed to be some quarterback guru. When's the last time he actually did well with a quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's trash. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's bad.
I will say this though. Talk about GM. I know for a fact, and this is a fact, Bill Belichick has a lot of sway in who they draft. A lot of sway. So don't
Well,
tell me it's just a GM problem.
what if I told you that Bill Belichick is the GM?
Yeah.
No, he is the GM. No,
All right.
he's the
That's
GM
fair.
and the coach.
That's a fair
So,
argument.
Again, I will pose the question: should Bill Belichick be fired?
I think he steps down
Because
as
it's all on him at this point. His team isn't doing well, and it's his fault. He has put himself in this situation.
I just think
He's had one really bad year so far.
Look at the last couple of years; they haven't been good.
8-win seasons, no 7.
I mean, I'll look at it, but they're not like anything impressive.
No, but I mean, you don't have an impressive roster. Maybe they need to say
Because
Bill. Maybe they need to tell Bill you're no longer GM. Okay, but
I could agree
he still needs to be coaching this team. Bill's a all-time great coach. So
Last year they went 8-9. The year before that, they did make the playoffs, 10-7. The year before that, they went 7-9.
and we're saying this guy's on the hot seat with a roster that's
That he put
garbage.
on himself.
Yeah, so
Insane.
fire him as GM, but not as head coach. And if he doesn't want that, then tell him, then it's time for you to retire. If he can't take the demotion from deciding all these players, then he can retire.
Kaden, anything?
Bill Belichick to me is unfireable. I'm sorry. I feel like he would definitely retire before he would get in any situation where he would be fired. So
Yeah.
I think you play out this year. If he wants to go another year, you give him that opportunity, but just let him coach. And then if he does bad again next year, hang him up. You got to. Man's too old.
Moving on to the Texans Saints. Texans
We're not going to
won
talk about the
this.
Raiders.
No.
Okay.
Garoppolo hurt. They got it.
Garoppolo went out. I mean, not
Garoppolo's
necessarily.
looked really, really bad. I'm
mediocre.
not even mediocre. He's looked bad.
It's
Yes,
just interesting because, well, actually, everyone's looks good against the Broncos, so never mind. That's bad.
He
Bad
had
thing to
8
bring up. So
He has 8 turnovers on the year. I expected that by the end of the season for him to have 8 turnovers, not by game 6. And he's been injured for 1.5 games. So he's been playing bad. I think we got to talk about that other head coach as well.
I don't know why he was ever hired again. No, I'm serious.
No, I
mean, like, when he went to the Broncos, they were trash. Like, he was not a good coach. He's a good offensive coordinator. He does well under Bill's system. He can't be a head coach though. Just different role. You just can't do it. So, but
And the Raiders don't have a bad roster either.
how is Brian Hoyer still in the league?
He's
That
still
man.
I have no idea.
He's the Raiders' backup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There has to be someone younger who's more talented. There has to be. I like out of free agency.
Carson Wentz.
He's not young anymore. But
I bet he's younger than Hoyer though.
oh yeah, I think he is.
Hoyer's 38 years old.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude. Hoyer's been Tom Brady's backup since like 06.
Jesus. Saints, Texans. Texans won 2013. Pretty much exactly what I expected from this game. Very like gritty win by the Texans. CJ Stroud continues to look good. He threw his first pick, I believe, in this game.
Yep.
Finally, but I mean, that ratio is still pretty freaking good. So it's nine touchdowns to 1 interception. He's been looking solid, and with receivers that I don't think a lot of people thought were going to be good going into this year. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and he's making them look really, really good. So anyone
bring it back to like week 1 when we said the Saints were gonna, win the division. I'm gonna roll with my Bucks. I think they're gonna continue to win the division, and you can just see that the Saints are not a good team. The Panthers are in dismay.
We'll get to the Bucks. We'll get
to the Bucks. I mean, they lost, but they didn't lose to the Texans. They didn't lose to the Texans.
Texans are.
I think we should be talking about the Texans.
Yep.
The Texans have a surprisingly decent team. They're better than I thought they were. I thought if anybody's going to be the 0-6 team, I thought it's going to be the Texans. But CJ Stroud has been playing wonderful football. Even in this game where he threw his first pick, he still had 2 touchdowns. Low completion percentage, but was decently throwing the ball down the field a little bit. And he's not doing it with big name talent.
No.
At receiver. I mean, you do have Dalton Schultz, who he started to find more recently. He has Nico Collins. But these aren't guys these aren't stars. These aren't studs. All pro receivers.
No, not at all.
One thing I want to say about this is when Hunter and I did our over-under win podcast at the start of the year, they were my sleeper team. I think they're at 5.5 wins. I predicted them to get 8. They're 1 play away right now against the Falcons from being 4-2. So I just want to give myself a little pat on the back for seeing this. So,
Give
but
himself a little stroke.
Yeah,
congratulations, Kaden.
Need that one.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, my worst take, and by far my worst take, one I cannot defend, will never be able to defend, is me saying that the Carolina Panthers might sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
So, moving on to the Cardinals Rams. Cardinals won 26-9. Rams are looking pretty good with Cup back. Cup's looking pretty good. A lot of people. What's up?
I want to say one more thing.
But
one more thing about the Saints. Can we talk about Derek Carr being overrated?
All right, we get it. You don't like him. We get it, bro. We get it. Moving on to the Rams Cardinals. Rams won 26-9. Cooper Kupp looked fantastic yet again after everyone doubted him with his hamstring problems. And Puka's still looking good. Looks like they have a pretty good 1-2 shot. Puka didn't have the greatest game in this. I know I said he's been looking good. It's because last game he did still look good. But Kupp, 7 receptions, 148 yards, and 1 touchdown. Puka slowed down this game, still had 4 receptions just for 26 yards. But still, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Kieran Williams continues to surprise me. And I've seen his stats every week, and I'm like, he's not like that good. And then he continues to put up like 120 yards a game. And so, I mean, just keep feeding him. He's really gonna help set them up now. They got Cup back because everyone's gonna start looking at Cup and Nakua, and then he'll just get his nice, yards that no one's gonna keep. They're just gonna keep sleeping on him, in my opinion.
When you have to double Cup and Nakua, doesn't leave for many people in the box.
Can Sean McVay lead this team to the playoffs?
I think they have an outside shot at the playoffs. They're a good team. I think the only question is Matthew Stafford gonna get them there? Stafford's older. He's always been a gunslinger. And the real question is, can he just not turn over the ball? If he doesn't turn over the ball, they're a really tough team to beat. If he has 2 picks, well, it's hard to win when your quarterback's throwing 2 picks. So,
yeah, I agree. Seth, you got anything on this game?
Not much. I didn't even know about Kieran Williams until now, but I'll give it to the Cardinals for fighting every week, I guess.
They do fight, man. Like, you watch their games, and they literally fight, man. They are a tough team. Like, they do not go down easy. Every week they've played a team, like, they are a frisky team. So, all right, let's move on to our next game. Jets, Eagles. Jets pulled off the upset. No unbeaten teams now. Last second pick by Hurts was huge. I mean, Hurts, as we've said all year long, just hasn't looked like himself, especially compared to last year. He had 3 picks in this game. Did not look good. And turning the ball over. He had some good throws to AJ Brown, but overall, I mean, turning the ball over like that is just you can't do that, especially against this Jets team. Defense, more specifically. I mean, this defense is proven that it's pretty damn good and compete with these elite offenses. So
definitely, I think Zach Wilson just needs to keep on not throwing anything, and their defense will at least keep them in a game. But the win or lose, it's up to Zach at this point. He will lose them the game.
Hunter, I want to ask you, do you still think Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback in the league? Your hot take after week 1. I know you got some scrutiny for that one. Is he still the worst?
Desmond Ridder has taken that spot.
Whoa.
No,
I don't know
not
if
Daniel
I agree with
Jones.
that.
Daniel Jones is having
a season right now, but no, I don't even know if I can throw Desmond Ridder down that gutter yet. I mean,
do you want me to read his stats for you on the year? Do you want me to read his stats for you on the year?
It's better than Zach Wilson last year. Am I wrong?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Better than Zach Wilson this year.
6 interceptions and 6 touchdowns.
1,400 yards, and he's on the ground.
What's Zach's at? Oh, yeah, it's better than Zach's this season. So, no, Zach's still the worst quarterback. He's still the worst. If this team had a quarterback that was top 25 in the NFL, they'd be a playoff team.
It is worse than Zach Wilson's. It's close, though. Desmond Ridder's not good. I can confidently say that.
No, it's nice that the Jets have finally figured out how to use Breece Hall the last 2 games. He went from no production, and then he's putting up like 150, 170 scrimmage yards the last 2 games, like each game. So he really keeps them in him. Ran all over the Broncos. Sorry, but lost me in fantasy that week because of that. But
I haven't figured out how to use Dalvin Cook yet, though.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Like, it's kind of a waste what
they gave up for him.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about this Eagles team? Are they? I mean, all year long, people have been saying they're frauds. They were 5-0. Now they finally got the loss against the Jets. I personally think this is hopefully their wake up call. But we'll see. I mean, how they react to losing to a team like this.
Well, the Eagles, their next 8 games are just ridiculous too. If you look at them, they got Cowboys twice, they got the Dolphins, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Niners. So they're in the gauntlet now. So you can really see how they respond to playing solid teams, especially now teams with good offenses, because it looks like when they play a team with good defense, they kind of struggle at this moment.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone else on the Eagles?
Jalen Hurts is having a down year right now. He needs to pick it back up if they want to be real contenders. But, I doubted Jalen Hurts at the start of his career, and then he proved me wrong. So I can't really say that, I'm flipping back. I think he's still a starter in this league, and he's just in a rough spot right now. Rough patch.
Yep. Yes. Overall, is this a down year for quarterbacks? Because I think it seems like it. Patrick Mahomes isn't the same. Hurts isn't the same. Allen isn't the same. I don't know about Herbert's stats, but I don't know if I see a clear one around the league yet.
I wouldn't say it's a down year for all quarterbacks. Previous to this week, a lot of quarterbacks were looking pretty efficient. And then this week, like Hunter was saying, a lot of turnovers.
Shit ton of turnovers.
I think it was bound to happen because there wasn't a lot of turnovers in previous weeks, except for if you look at a couple quarterbacks like Daniel Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo.
And Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Patrick Mahomes has looked like by far number one like he used to. Joe Burrow is getting off an injury. Jalen Hurts is not great. Josh Allen's had games. I don't know. Maybe Seth's right. Maybe Seth's right. This is down year for quarterbacks. Who knows? Jared Goff's looked good.
Maybe Jared we're Goff. Going next. Thank you for the transition, Dodge. Detroit won 20-6. 353 yards by my boy Jared Goff, the Cow product. And, he looks really good in this game. He looks in control. Yeah, I mean, this Detroit team took care of business in Tampa, which I did not expect. I actually had them as Tampa as my upset of the week. I thought they would, be able to take care of this Detroit team, but they didn't, especially at home. But Detroit went in there and they looked solid, man. On both sides of the ball too. The defense was able to get pressure on Baker. Yeah, this was a good win for Detroit, in my opinion.
Definitely. I'll give it to the Bucks. I mean, they're playing better than a lot of people expected them to, but I think the Lions are what? Yeah, they're 5-1. I mean, it's just from like last season. Instead of losing every game by a touchdown, they're winning all these games. And I think they flipped the script. They know what to do now. They know how to win. And Jared's being Jared. I think he should be in the top 3, honestly, for MVP race at the moment. I mean, it's 2-1. I mean, 2 is kind of his stats are insane so far. Yeah, you should look at him. You should
watch the Bills Dolphins game and tell me he's the MVP again.
I'm just gonna say Goff is also doing it with not Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
True.
And not a running game with Rasheed Mostert and a chain. So I think there's argument Goff's been the best looking quarterback of the year.
True. I know he just got hurt, so it's kind of tough to say this, but I think there's a conversation that CMC deserves to be in the MVP race.
Oh, 100%.
But he's not. That's the thing. He's not. On every sports book, he's not.
That's just because no one expects a running back.
Like, from carries, he has 553 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns on just rushing. And then you look at his receiving yards. He's got 177 receiving yards, 23 receptions, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So 9 total touchdowns. I mean, he's insane. He has scored in every single game he's played in this year. Sometimes multiple times.
And I also, now that he's injured, you saw what happened to the Niners, so that even makes a better case for him a little bit. As soon as he went down, couldn't
I
move
wonder
the ball.
who was the last time MVP went to a non-quarterback.
I got you. Give me a sec.
Was it Derrick Henry? Did Derrick Henry win an MVP?
Oh,
You know, did Chris
it's been
Johnson
so
win
long.
MVP?
He deserved to win one. Derrick
Adrian
Henry
Peterson.
deserved it.
2012.
AD. Oh my gosh.
AP, huh?
Yep. When he had his 2,000-yard season.
You know who also had a 2,000-yard season?
CJ2K.
Henry.
Oh, well. No CJ2K love? Is that too old for the
All
viewers?
right.
No love.
No love. Moving on to Sunday Night Football.
Oh, we're gonna
Where-
skip the Bucks.
I try to talk about the Bucks. Y'all like skipped over them.
Oh,
Bro
They
always
wouldn't-
wants to talk about the team once I'm moving on.
They're gonna win the
What do you got to
division.
say about the Bucks?
They're gonna win the division.
I'm just gonna say it was the first game where Baker did not seem to have a good connection with his receivers. You know, he had Evans on 10 targets, only getting 4 catches. Trey
Yeah.
Palmer, rookie from Nebraska, shout out. Only 2 catches on 7 targets. So,
Shout out for playing like shit, boy.
hey, chill, bro. He's a rookie. He's a rookie putting up these
You
numbers.
just shouted him out, and then you said 2 catches.
2 catches for how many yards, though?
47, but it's still funny
Yeah.
that you shouted him out and you go 2 catches.
All right. I don't want to hear it. For a rookie, he's doing good. Look at his season stats. Wide receiver 3.
All right. Can I move on now? Giants Bill. Stop, bro. It's 8 receptions on the year.
How many tutties? How many
Two tutties.
tutties?
2 tutties.
Giant. Jesus Christ. The Sunday Night Football, Giants Bills. This was terrible to watch. Talk about primetime games that disappointed. The best primetime game was the Cowboys Chargers, in my opinion. Because Broncos, that was bad. And then this game was not good either. The Bills looked like trash against this Giants team. That linebacker on the Giants, though, it's like Oleki or something like that. I'm gonna get canceled.
Okereke?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. He had a great game. I mean, he was all over the place. Chris Collinsworth had a fucking orgasm about him. So, you know he's playing well when Chris Collinsworth has an orgasm on live television. But the Bills barely pulled this game out. I don't know. I don't really know what to think about this Bills team because one week they look really, really good, and the next they look really bad.
Why are we giving the Giants 4 primetime games already this year? That's what I want to know. It's like the Broncos last year. Like they're like, oh, they're gonna be good, and then just give them all these games, and they have like 10 total points in their primetime games. It's ridiculous. But the Giants, they look better with Tyrod, except for he doesn't know how to manage a game on 2nd and goal in the first half. That was really rough.
Yeah, I was
even
actually
a field,
impressed with Tyrod.
even a field goal there at the end of the first half, though, instead of letting the clock run out, puts them in a
God.
position where they can win
That
the
was
game at the end.
terrible.
But Tyrod Taylor does deserve to be a starter in this league.
Yeah.
And
Over Desmond Ritter.
Zach Wilson, Desmond Ritter, whoever the Browns throw out next week. I mean, besides Deshaun Watson, but I mean, there's so many teams right now that are sticking it with a quarterback who sucks, and it pisses me off because it means guys like Tyrod Taylor, Jacoby Brissett don't get a play, even though they
They're waiting.
both deserve to.
We're waiting for that Caleb Williams package.
Yeah. There's only one of him, though.
Yeah. Seth, you got anything on this game?
I was just gonna say the Patriots are tanking for Caleb, but
Okay, for sure.
Stephon Diggs was a stud
Beast.
this game.
Yeah,
he was.
yeah. He looked good. All right. So this is new thing we're gonna do. We're gonna do rapid fire picks of the week, doing all the games for next week, but we can't talk about them. You just got to say them. Who your pick is? No talking. Just say your picks. Going around the room.
Can you let us know who the home team is?
Oh my god,
Oh my gosh, bro.
bro! First game, Jags Saints, Thursday night football. Dodge,
Jags.
Kaden,
Jags.
Seth.
Jags are on the board.
Yep, Jags are on the board. Raiders Bears. It's in Chicago. Seth,
Doesn't matter. Raiders.
Kaden,
Also going to go Raiders.
Dodge,
Raiders unless Fields plays, and then I'll go Bears.
I'll go Bears. Browns, Colts, and Indy. Kaden,
Colts.
Seth,
I'm gonna say Browns, and I don't want to.
and they just beat the Niners. Dodge,
Colts.
Browns. We're split. Wow. Bills, Patriots. Dodge,
Bills by 40.
Kaden,
Upset of the just Bills.
Seth,
We're taking for Caleb, baby. Go Bills.
Bills all across the board. Commanders, Giants. This one's interesting. Dodge,
Go Commanders.
Kaden,
Commanders.
Seth.
I'm sneaking the Giants right here.
I'm also going with the Giants. Falcons, Bucks. I'll start. Bucks. Seth,
Bucks.
Kaden,
MVP Ritter. Falcons.
Bucks.
Lions, Ravens. Kaden.
Ravens.
Ooh, Dodge. This is gonna be a good game. Dodge,
Ravens.
Seth.
Lions lockdown.
I'll go with Ravens as well. Steelers, Rams. Dodge,
Rams.
Seth,
It's Rams.
Kaden.
Rams.
Give me Matt Canada Steelers.
Against the Rams D. I don't know what you're
Seth,
talking.
Cardinals, Seahawks in Seattle.
I'll see, baby.
Kaden,
Seahawks.
Dodge.
Seahawks.
Give me that 12th man, Seahawks. Dodge. Packers, Broncos.
Oh gosh. The Broncos managed to pull one out by the skin of their teeth. Late game field goal to win.
I don't know about that.
15-14.
Kaden.
Ride. Broncos.
Oh, we got 2. Can we get a 3? Can we get 3 right?
Yeah, I'll give it to the Broncos.
Oh, it's too bad. I'm a Broncos fan and don't trust my team. Let's go, Pack. Go, Pack. Go. Chargers, Chiefs. Seth, start us off.
P Swift there. Chiefs.
Kaden.
Chargers.
I'm gonna go with an upset
Dodgers.
here. Chargers.
I'll go Chiefs. Dolphins, Eagles. Sunday night football in Philly.
This should be
Dodge.
good. This should be a good one. Give me the Eagles. Jalen Hurts bounce back game, 400 yards.
Kaden.
I was going to say the same thing. Eagles. Bounce back. Swift takeover.
Ooh, he's on my fantasy team.
Seth.
I like that.
Go to the Dolphins. Tyreek for 200.
I just got done saying this Dolphins team They can't handle elite offenses, buddy. You know I got that fly, Eagles, fly. Someone cue up Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. 49ers, Vikings. Monday Night Football. Seth.
What are these teams doing? McCaffrey out. I'll go Vikings.
Kaden.
Jefferson out. I'll go Niners.
This seems like it should be a good game, but when you have Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey out, Debo probably out, who knows? It's going to be a terrible game. Give me that home team, Vikings.
You know what? Here's my prediction right here. Hufanga, pick 6. End of the game to win it. Give me the Niners. And that is your games for the week. We have 6 teams on bye this week. Bengals, Cowboys, Titans, Jets, Panthers, and Texans. All of those teams are on byes.
You know, it's funny. I don't think any of those teams would make this week a better game.
No. I think the games to watch: Chiefs, Chargers, Dolphins, Eagles, Lions, Ravens. Thursday night could be good, possibly.
Thursday night's never good.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But the rest are, yeah.
I think Lions Ravens is going to be a big one.
Yeah,
it's going to really show which team is going to be a contender or a pretender.
Yep. Especially because the Lions haven't really, besides like the Chiefs and the Seahawks. I mean, I don't know. The last 3 games they haven't played like super, super great teams, but 4 games, I guess. But all right. Any last words, any last questions? No? All right. As of what is this? We're going in week 7. Who's your Super Bowl pick now? I don't want you to think about it too long. First one that comes to your head. Dodge?
Oh shoot, you put me on spot first. I'm still going Niners.
Kaden?
Yeah, Niners, Bills, also Niners.
Seth?
Dolphins. They finally win one.
Wow.
Ooh, we should have a pod on just the Dolphins for an entire hour.
Yeah.
Hunter just got done saying they were pretenders.
I think they're pretenders. They let the Chargers score 34 points on them, and then they let the Bills score 48 points on them.
Who needs defense when you score 72 points?
Against a shitty defense, dumbass.
This is Gonzaga basketball 101 here.
Chiefs only scored 19 on that defense. Chiefs pretenders?
Ooh.
Possibly.
Pretenders?
Wait, Chiefs against who?
It's your team.
It's the Broncos.
Oh, yeah. Chiefs.
19.
I mean, Chiefs are Chiefs. I don't know. All right. What was I going? Oh, Super Bowl pick. Yeah, I got the Niners. My early bet of the year was Bills Niners. So, all right. Thanks, boys, for coming on the pod. Appreciate it all. Any last words?
Thanks for having us.
All right. See you, boys.
Peace.